Hi, this is Margo. This is Thursday evening, June the 13th, 2019, 6:56 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So I'm going to do a quick show tonight. I'm going to be looking at earthquakes, but we'll start with the Oroville Dam lake level, and it's still rising. The inflow has increased and the outflow is still around 5,000 CFS, that's cubic feet per second. And as of 6 o'clock tonight, it's at 893.93. And yesterday, let me get my notes here, from midnight till midnight it went up 0.22 feet. And so at midnight, this last night, it was 893.70. So it's gone up 0.23 feet. So about a quarter of a foot since midnight. So that's what's going on there. So we're going to look at earthquakes here, and we have USGS pulled up for all magnitudes for the last 24 hours. It's showing 255 earthquakes worldwide. Of those, 22 are 2.5 magnitude or higher. So let's see the oldest ones that are about to come off the map. This 2.8 at Dillingham, Alaska at 7:08 last night. I think I showed that, but we'll look at that again. It's right down there. Here's Dillingham, so that's the reporting station. And after that was this 5.6 on this mid-Atlantic ridge that came in at 8 o'clock last night, or South Mid-Atlantic ridge. So that's where we ended, and then this one, this 4.8, came in right after I finished the show. So let's start there. Down here in Guatemala was a 4.8 magnitude near Fraijanes, Guatemala at 8:31 last night. It was deep, 204 kilometers deep. So the deeper they are, the less damage they do on the surface and the less it shakes. So it's very likely that they didn't even feel that. So that probably didn't do any damage. So while we're over here, let's go ahead and start down here in South America. All of this has been going on. Here's a 4.8 near Vallenar, Chile at 9:12 this morning. And then this afternoon, 5.0 near Ovalle, Chile at 3:50 this afternoon. And then this very large 6.4 in the ocean. So these two were on land and probably didn't do any damage, although that 5.0 is big enough that it could do damage. But here's this 6.4 that just happened, or it just came on the map recently near Coquimbo, Chile. It came in at 5:15 this afternoon, and they're showing it at 10.1 kilometers depth. Now all these times I'm telling you are Pacific time because that's my time zone, and it doesn't have a little wave for a tsunami warning, but that doesn't mean anything. But that's quite large, but with it being in the ocean, it didn't do damage. If that had been on land, that definitely would have done damage. But that could have made stuff move on the land. and shake. Definitely, the shaking could have caused disturbances around. In fact, let's go over to EMSC and see what they're reporting on that earthquake, because it just came in. Let's go. See if we can find it over here. Here it is. Offshore Coquimbo. Oh, it's volcano discovery is where we get the I felt it things. But let's go ahead and look at this. So that they're registering it as a 6.5, and it came in at 0:19 UTC time. So let's go over to volcano discovery now and see if we have any I felt it's. Here it is. Info. They have it coming in as a 6.0 on Friday, June the 14th, because it was just into the 14th on UTC time. But it's the night of the 13th, and I think they're on. They could be on like East Coast time for the United States. So let's see what it says. Okay, here are people who have reported. No, that's last year. Here we go. Cordoba. They were 160 kilometers from the epicenter. They said they felt weak shaking. Here's 109 kilometers from the epicenter, felt light shaking. Coquimbo, they were 4.4 kilometers away. They felt light shaking. La Serena, 83 kilometers away. They felt light shaking. And that's in Spanish, and I'm not able to really read all of that. So there's that. So right now, no damage, it looks like. So that's a good thing. With it being in the ocean like that, the ocean buffers the shaking, buffers everything, and keeps things from being felt as much. Okay, now let's go to the South Pacific. There was a 5.2 near L'Esperance Rock, New Zealand at 4:10 this afternoon, and a 5.2 near Ohanua, Tonga at 12:33 this morning. Here's a 4.8 near Port Vanuatu. I'm just having a brain fart. Sorry. At 5:12 this morning, 138 kilometers deep. This one is new in the ocean here. 4.7 near Tehran, Papua New Guinea at 6:12 this evening. So that was in the ocean. Here's one off the coast of Sumatra. Now this is not very far from where we saw that big sulfur dioxide release in the last couple of days. This is a 4.7 near Bihar, Indonesia at 5:43 this morning. Could it have been from that? I'm thinking it was from Cinnabon, but that could have been part of it too. Now, here's a 5.0 near Maritzo Village, Guam at 3:34 this morning. That's all on that side. Here in the Indian Ocean, we've got one off the coast of Africa. It's a 4.9 on the Carlsberg Ridge at 6:47 this morning. I think that's all on that side. Right. So those are all of the international quakes. So let's go to all magnitudes now. For Hawaii, we're only seeing 3 here today. 3.0 in the ocean. They're calling it near Kailua Kona at 7:59 this morning. A 2.6 near Volcano, Hawaii at 4:19 this afternoon. And a 1.9 near Kahaluu Keuao. That's in the ocean too at 5:44 this afternoon. Then in the Caribbean, the largest one was this 3.9 at Guaymate, Dominican Republic. This one came in at 10:15 this morning, 98 kilometers deep. That was probably not big enough to do damage, but that's definitely getting up there. So I'll call these off. 2.2, 3.0, 2.4, 1.5, 2.3, 2.0, 2.0, 3.9, and then 2.7. So that's showing movement, definitely. Now let's go on up to Alaska. So for all magnitudes, we're seeing 68 here today. So that number is going down. So we're only seeing one that's 2.5 magnitude or higher. There was a 2.8 near Talkeetna. So this is calming down. There have been so many up here that have been larger. It was kind of concerning. Here's some in the little armpit. So here we are. Here's the Cook Inlet. Here's Redoubt Volcano area. Here's a -0.3 at Redoubt, -0.5. So these are definitely smaller. Here's a 1.6, 1.4, 1.2. So instead of seeing them in the 2s range, we're seeing them go down now. 1.5, 1.6, and so forth. Now here's a larger dot. That's a 2.0. So here's a 2.1 Talkeetna and a 1.1. Those are new. So they're going, the magnitude of them, it looks like, is going down as well. Here's a 1.9 near Nome. Let's look at Kobuk. We've got 13 here. These are in the low ones and under. And we've got a couple up in the northern part, a 2.1 at Koktovik and a 1.5. And so on. And then they're just going up that midline through the state. Then let's come on down to the lower 48. and including this northern part of Baja, and we've got 159 here today. So that number is down from yesterday and the day before. So we're going to start right here in Oklahoma. We've got 7 here today. I'll call them off. 1.6 Hennessy, 1.3, 1.9, and 1.5, all at Hennessy. Here's a 0.6 Pawnee, 1.9 Edmond, and a 2.1 Uloga. So that's still active. Then we've got one right here on the border between New Mexico and Colorado. We see them here sometimes. It's a 2.8 near San Luis, Colorado. This came in at 1:37 this morning. That's part of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. There's Arizona's clear. Utah's clear. Okay, what's going on at Yellowstone today? We've got 8 in this area today. I'll call them off. So first we've got this cluster up here near Whitefish. So there's a 1.3 at Whitefish, 1.1. Looks like just those, well, it looks like more than, okay. 1.3, 1.1, and then 0.9 and a 1.0. This is all part of that cluster, but the reporting stations are a little bit different. This one said Kalispell, and this one said Evergreen, but they're in the same place. Now coming on down, went in too far. What is going on here? I got lost. Here's a 1.1 at Lincoln and a 1.3 at Lincoln and a 0.8 at Belgrade. So there's Yellowstone. Now coming over to the Pacific Northwest. Oregon is quiet today. So in the Washington region, we've got 5 here today. So let's look at our tremor map. Now this is from yesterday, because we can't get the current ones. The most current we can get is from yesterday. For June the 12th, there were 93 epicenters, and so there was nothing up here in Vancouver or northern Washington yesterday, but they're coming on down here south of Eugene and then into northern California in the Shasta area. So that's where the tremors were yesterday. So we'll just call these off. Here's a 0.4 Morton, 0.5 Three Lakes, 0.6 Royal City, 0.2 Eatonville, and 0.2 Amboy. So Amboy and Morton are Mount St. Helens. Amboy, this is right on the volcano, right there. Now coming into Northern California, we've got quite a bit of activity going on. It's like every time I look at the map, there's a new dot here. And we're watching these very closely because of all of the lakes, the reservoirs that are full, Okay, so those tremors that we saw from yesterday are right in this area, this Shasta area, the ones in California. So let's just look at these without the geysers. We've got 8 here. We've got a 1.7 near Rancho Tehama Reserve. This came in at 3:36 this afternoon. And here's a 0.8 near Mineral at 3:57, and a 1.5 near Mineral at 12:26 this morning. Now these are just to the northeast of Lake Almanor, which is full. Here's Chico, here's Oroville Lake. Lake Shasta is further, I think it's right up here. So this one, I said, okay, 3:36 this morning is when that one came in. Next, we've got this pair down here at Quincy, a 1.0 at East Quincy and a 0.4. And this is near Bucks Lake. And then the winner is this 2.2 near White Hawk and a 0.3 near Downeyville. And then we've got one just north of Lake Tahoe at 0.5. So if we zoom in a little, it looks like this is New Bullard's Bar Reservoir. Here's Lake Davis. Here's Stampede Reservoir. So there's Lake Almanor. Here's Bucks Lake. So these are not too far away from these reservoirs. So it's definitely showing movement. Then coming across into Nevada, here's a 0.7 near Fernley. And coming on down, here's 3 at Hawthorne, 3 small ones, and here's a 0.6 at Bridgeport. Here's a 1.1 magnitude explosion near Gabbs. Here's a 0.6 Tonopah. So those are pretty small. When you see those explosions, you know something's going on. Here's a leftover cluster at Goldfield. This 1.4 is the biggest one. Let's come on down. Then in southern Nevada, it's pretty quiet today. We've got 2.0 at Alamo, 0.6 at Alamo, and 0.4 at Beatty. So that's quieted down. So that's Nevada. So let's come down this eastern side of California. We've got 2 at Mammoth Lakes, a 1.2 and a 0.8. So then we've got some down here. Here's a 1.4 quarry blast at Tehachapi. So we've got, besides that, we've got 10 earthquakes. This is the Coso Junction and Little Lake area. So we've got a 2.3 at Olancha and a 2.0 at Tecopa. And those are the biggest ones, and everything else is under that. So that's a good number, a good number there. But there's a 1.3 at Fillmore. All right, so nothing in Baja. Here's a 1.1 quarry blast near Santee. So see, the earthquake makers are back at work. They'll be at work through tomorrow. Here's a 1.3 blast at Big Bear City. So in Southern California, I'm not gonna count that one in my reading here. We have 65 here today. So let's just kind of go around. We can see they're just scattered around in 2s and 3s together. Now here's Glen Avon. That looks like an uptick, and we've got a little cluster over here at Grand Terrace. There's 6. Oh, Loma Linda. We've got 6 at Loma Linda. Where's Glen Avon? And we've got 17 right at Glen Avon. Look, here's a large one. Here's a 3.0 at Glen Avon. This came in at 7:16 tonight, so that one's new. Look, they're popping. Look at these red ones. Look at these are coming in pretty quick. So in this view, they're 30. So, and the Prado Dam is right down here. And the tar pits are right over here. La Brea tar pits. So nothing near those. Just got them a few scattered around. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything big down there. 3.0 Cabazon. I missed that one. Oh, it was right here. Right on the San Andreas fault line. That one came in at 5:38 this morning. That's 2.0. I got that one. Now we're going to come up the San Andreas fault line. Here's a 1.6 San Simon, 2.4 Pinnacles, 1.5 Tres Pinos, 1.1 Tres Pinos. Here's a 1.7 magnitude quarry blast Aromas that happened at 11:07 this morning. 2.4 Pacific Grove that came in at 7:11 tonight. That's in the ocean there. 1.5 Morgan Hill. 2.1 Vallejo. 2.4 Napa. We got that one earlier. And then the geysers has 31 here today. I would say that's about an average number that we normally see at the geysers. So those are all under 2.5 magnitude. So they're ones and under. Uh-oh, look, we had an aftershock. After the 6.4, we've had 4.5 just came in. That came in at 6:38. It just came in on the map. .8, 6.4. So far, okay, so the 6.4 came in at 5:19. Then this 4.8 came in at 5:24, and then here's the latest aftershock at the 4.5 that came in at 6:38 p.m. Pacific time. So we may see some more come in here. That was an extremely large earthquake. So I hope everyone is doing well and has a plan what to do in a disaster and prepared. But the main thing you want to be prepared for is spiritually. I believe we're in the end times, and everyone absolutely needs to get their spiritual house in order. Here's another one that came in, this 4.6 at the Carlsberg Ridge. This one came in at 6:07 tonight. So now we've got two there. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I've got things I've got to do. So until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night.